Welcome to Carl and Heather Present,
the podcast where we dive into the insights, challenges, and humor of being married to someone who is nothing like you.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Oh, don't you know it's Carl and Heather Present Marriage Podcast.
Here we go. Welcome everybody to Carl and Heather Present. We have a great episode for you today featuring the amazing and wildly talented couple known as Trey and April Cushman.
Or Traypril.
Yes.
Traypril.
Right?
Traypril.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome.
but before we do that, I want to thank everybody so much for listening to the podcast. We've loved hearing from you, praying for you, and really doing this marriage thing together.
We want to remind you that this podcast is a ministry and it's bearing fruit. We've heard from so many people who are finding hope and help for your marriage, and we want to invite you to be a part of what we're doing.
So if you've been blessed by this ministry and you want to help keep it going, would you consider partnering with us financially? The gift is tax deductible. It goes directly towards producing episodes, sharing truth, and reaching more couples with the gospel.
To give, go to carlandheather.com/give, and let's get together on purpose, everybody.
Yep.
All right. Now to the guest, the couple of the hour.
Guys,
Yes.
so good to be here.
The tower of the
so
hour.
good.
Too sweet to be sour.
guys are
It's
the best.
Trey and April Cushman. All right. Let's do a little bit of braggy stuff.
Q&A.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Trey, tell me a little bit about, I know you were a successful athlete and now you're a successful businessman. You played college football.
Yes.
Were you good at it?
I was okay.
Yeah?
I was good enough to play in college, not good enough to play in the league. That's for sure.
Okay. But what college?
But 95% of people in college think they're good enough to play in the league.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't think I'm good enough to play. I'm one of those like, nah, I don't know. I'm not good.
know.
as good
And
as that
just a
guy.
little
So-
insider jargon, when Trey says of the league, he's talking about the NFL.
Right.
Yes.
The big leagues, as we like to call them.
So
Big
what
leagues.
college did you play?
Texas A&M
What position did you play?
quarterback.
All-star.
Okay.
Look
Yes.
out.
All-star.
Unbelievable.
Fairness, I was redshirted and I only played for a year.
Okay.
And so, but I was also pursuing engineering, industrial engineering at the time, and I just didn't want to compromise that. Once I figured out I wasn't going to go to the league, then
Yeah.
It's officially what we're going to call it now.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that's what the people.
The league.
We're so
Oh, that's what they call it. No,
Right.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Then I realized, hey, might as well focus on what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, which is not football.
And now you're in business. Tell me a little bit about your business.
So I work
Now
for
he
a
plays
company.
football full time.
Full time. The Lord just
No money in there.
It was like a
circle.
whole-
You just do it full time. Yeah.
Yeah, my son actually asked me the other day. He's like, "Daddy, would A&M ever call you again to play football?" And I know, I love that, but I think my back and my ham. I think I pulled a hamstring when he
Just
was
hearing
asking
that
that.
question.
I was like, "Oh man, no, they would not even consider that. That would be not a good idea." So currently, I work for a company called Event Shop. I'm the CFO there, and work with just the most amazing teams.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, Spencer Combs, started it and founded it, and we just help fans and people at live events remember moments that matter to them. So that's through imagery, it's through video, it's through really, really cool technology that we do. So
Merch, swag,
fun.
check it.
very
Oh, I love it.
merch
This is
design,
work
all
some
that
event
stuff.
shop.
I don't do any of
This
that.
is unreleased.
I just
Unreleased.
Oh, I love it.
try and make sure we have money to keep going. That's
Yeah.
that's my job. Everybody else is the creative.
You got to have that.
That's
You got to
right.
have that. So how about you, April? Tell us about you.
Love being wife to this man. Love being mother to our 3 kids. We have 2 girls and a son, our little son caboose. And our girls just recently had birthdays. So now we have a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old son. And I get to write music for the Lord all day long, which is just the best.
Yeah.
And I get to sing some of those songs, and then other people get to sing some of those songs. The church gets to sing some of those songs. So any song of praise, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I love it. And you do it so well.
Thank you.
Yes, you
Thank
really
you.
do. And how long have y'all been married?
Guys,
Almost 20 years.
this is amazing.
Next month.
3 weeks from now, we
3
will
weeks. Yeah.
have made it 20 years.
Go. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Can I
Yep.
share a full circle moment that's really fun and really
Yeah.
sweet?
I would love it.
Emmy Lou, our oldest, 13 years old, has started getting into songwriting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's
She
an amazing
just
songwriter.
found CDs. For those of you that don't know, CDs is where you used to play music. And
Compact disc.
but
Yes.
Mommy's old, or April's old, songs when she was 16.
Yeah.
So this is songs she wrote when she was 13, 14, released them when she was 16, 17.
Yeah.
And she is just, Lou is loving them. That's all she just can soak
she's
up.
obsessed
and it's
with
so
it,
sweet.
and
She
it's
wants to
so-
re-record them. And
She's like, Mommy,
it's
can
such
I make a
sweet
record
moment.
and just sing all your songs? And I'm like, okay, this is wild.
Yeah.
That is so
And we
sweet.
were hanging out in her room last night before bed, and she was playing. She was like, "Which one do you want to hear next?" And I was like, "Turn that off." Like those are the worst songs I've ever written. But she was playing a couple of them, and it was like, it really was a full circle moment where I was just like so blessed by had that 16-year-old girl known. Actually, I wrote some of those songs when I was 13, 14, like you said. Her age, she's 13. And like, had I known that I'd be sitting in a house in Nashville, Tennessee, and my own daughter, who is incredibly gifted in this way, clearly from the Lord, is saying, I want to sing that. That matters to me. Yeah. I'm like, what? It was just a huge blessing to me.
That's amazing.
And then I went and cracked them all over my knee and put them in the garbage.
I get that for sure.
Oh, we love you guys, and we've been friends a lot. One of the ways I get to know people, I feel like I'm closest to people, is when you just sit down and have meals and talk to them, and it's kind of over and over. And like, I don't know how many times you've been over here. I don't know how many times I've been over your house.
Yes.
Like, you've let us use your house for different things.
Yes.
I've been to 2 birthday parties at your house. Top 1 and 2 birthday parties I've ever been to. Amazing.
So sweet. So sweet.
So one of the reasons we wanted to have you guys here is because you've got a lot going on. People look up to you. You're a successful artist. You're a successful businessman. There's a lot. It's cool. You've also gone through a lot. There's some tragedy that's a part of your story. There's loss. There's illness and sickness and things that make life complicated. I have seen you guys do a thing with both success and tragedy that I admire, and it is to not let those things affect you so much that it robs your joy. Because a lot of times you could, if you experience success, you could be like, man, I got this. Thanks. Look at what I've done. And you forget that God's a provider and a source and a supplier and everything. And then sometimes we go through really, really hard things. Tragedy, stuff that's the most important to us, gets threatened or fragile.
Yeah.
And then some people could be tempted to say, God can't be trusted. I don't. But you guys are doing your marriage and your life and your ministry, your work in a unique way that says, we trust the Lord.
Yeah.
We're open-handed with what he's given us. And we want to worship and honor and serve him and teach our kids how to do that. It's a bright light. It's a city on a hill. And we just want to talk to you about that.
I love that.
So let's start with there's kind of 2 ends of that Carl said. So let's start with the success part. You've both been successful in a lot of different areas. But what I'd love to know is
nearly
not
in the
necessarily
league.
Right, nearly in the league. About the successes, but how have you learned throughout the highs to not let it affect you, to still depend on the Lord in that, and how have you had to remind each other?
Wow. Well, I definitely learned that the hard way.
Okay.
Because I think we both have. We were talking about that on the way over here, how we've relied on our own wit or our own brains or our own experiences and successes and being like, I got there. And that's so a lie. The Lord holds us in every moment. And for us to be in this marriage, both with this posture, this is what I was celebrating on the way over here, just like thanking the Lord. Lord, I'm so grateful that we're both celebrating what you are doing, that we're looking for what you're doing, that our posture in our marriage and even as parents and how to parent and how to love each other is so spirit-led. And it's so, Lord, what are you doing? What do you want me to know? What do you want us to see? And even parenting down to, man, I don't understand that thing about my kid. And then taking it to the Lord immediately and saying, Lord, how do you see my kid? What does she look like to you? What does she sound like to you? And what can I know that you know? And he gives us wisdom. He doesn't hold back. And Yeah, but back to your original question. Just wanted to share that.
I love that.
Take it away, babe.
Yeah, I mean, success is relative, right? So it's not
Totally.
I mean, and I think, especially this stage of life right now, I'm in, where are you in your strength, right? Because if you're in your strength, you're likely enjoying what you're doing, but you're also likely doing what you're called and equipped to do, right? You're not going to be called to the league if I'm not good enough to go there. Then there's just gonna be a struggle there and frustration.
Yes.
And that's where I've learned it's taken years to figure out kind of discernment on what am I chasing versus what the Lord is leading.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be more present in that, and then lead our kids in that as well. And
Yeah.
we're not always going to be successful. I've had many failures.
Yeah.
I had a buddy in college, I remember, that was like, I can't wait to start my first business so I can fail, so I can learn and move on.
Really.
And I was like, that's an interesting perspective, but I get it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's something that, just learning from it, right? Unless you end on a failure, you're just constantly learning, and you're growing deeper in your relationship and your dependence on the Lord. And I will say, my son today, 7-year-old, asked, he said, Daddy, what are some miracles that you had when you were a kid? And we talk a lot about that as a family.
We see these things that the Lord has done, and so we're telling that story over our kids, so they will remember it, and so we'll remember it.
Yeah.
Which we have a lot, and we can
There
share
are
a
a
lot, which are
million.
amazing. But what
Yeah.
was interesting is, I told him, just taking him to school this morning, and I said, man, that's a good question. I said, I'm going to have to actually take that to the Lord and pray about it, because I wasn't raised that way. Like,
Yeah. You didn't think
with-
about it.
I wasn't thinking, I kind of, if I look back on my successes, I think I ascribe them to myself, whether it's, physical accomplishments or feats or whatever. And so I'm really almost having to rewrite, and I need to go back and look at that. And I told him that. I said, hey, I just need to go back and kind of see where the Lord was working, because I don't know if I've done that in my life there.
I
And
love
then
that.
back to how we started with Emmylou looking into music. April said this last night. She said, I wish I could go back and tell that 16-year-old girl this.
Who she was, like
she
her
was.
Yeah.
true identity in Christ.
And I could
Yeah.
see in our daughter's eyes, like, wow.
I get to tell her.
And that's what we talk
who
to our
God
kids
is.
all
Yeah.
the time. Like, we have an opportunity to, you'll never have the experience right now as a 13-year-old that we have now. But if there's some way to impart that
Yeah.
to you
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
you're going to be so much better off than we are, because we weren't thinking
Yeah.
the way and talking the way that we feel like
The
we
Lord
are as
has
parents
led
now.
us
Right,
now,
right.
yes.
Well, and I mean,
good.
I think I see that in you guys, like Carl had mentioned, in all areas, in that, and maybe you just hit on the answer to that. It's your identity piece that is not connected to your successes.
Yeah.
Or your failures or failed experiences or things of this earth. And you were even talking about how you guys do a great job, and scripture teaches us to do this, to fix your eyes not on what we see, but what we can't see. Because
Yes.
what we see is temporary, what we can't see is eternal.
Yes.
And I watch you do that in the highs and then in the lows. And you've had some, I mean, we could do multiple episodes on all of us for our lows.
Yeah.
But I would say that you've had probably one of the lowest lows that anybody could experience as it relates to just tragedy and in your lives as a couple. And so talk about that. And then how did you stay grounded and connected
Yeah.
as a married couple in that season?
Yeah. So March 27th, 2023, a shooter walked into our daughter's school and killed 6 of our loved ones. And we got to bring our kid home. And that wasn't the case for our friends. And it's real difficult to hold that and to work that out in your heart and in your brain, I will say, just on a side note, that a really incredible and heartbreaking thing the Lord did when I got that message on my phone, when that was happening, and my phone was dinging and ringing and all the things, and I was working, and so I was like, "Excuse me, I was actually in a co-write," and I said, "Excuse me, something must be going on because my phone is just blowing up," and I looked at that and I saw this message saying there is an active shooter at the Covenant School. And takes you right back. And the only thing that I had was Jesus. And it set me in this right path, and I've held on to this since then. And I want to live the rest of my life like this, is what we have is not ours. And the whole unseen world of spiritual battles is happening all the time. And I didn't even think to call Trey right away. I called out to the Lord right away. And I said, she's yours. Our daughter is yours. She's all yours. And you can do this. And if you don't, I'm going to trust you. Like I literally declared it in the moment. And it was really amazing because Carl, you came in not moments later to that room because you were around the corner. And it's just bizarre that the Lord allowed you to be there and pray. And that was such a solid moment for believers and loved ones and friends to come around us. And then called Trey and all that went down. But kind of two unique things here is Emmy Lou. So Emmy Lou and Olive were both at the Covenant School. Our son was in a program down the street. He was 4 at the time, and we had a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. And that morning, Emmy Lou, the Lord just said, Emmy Lou's not going to school. And it was the weirdest situation. And she was dressed and ready to go to school. And Trey was even like, wait, why isn't she not going to school? And I was like, I have no idea. I literally felt pressure on my chest. You're not going to school. And she was like, what? And so Lou doesn't go to school. And I take Olive to school that day. And Lou was not there. Olive was there. And so when I say I was, praying about my daughter, it was because there was only one daughter there. Months later, Olive from the backseat of the car said, Mommy, I have a question. And just the way that she said it was like, turn down the music, what's up, girl? Mommy, how could God let you tell you to leave my sister at home and you take me to school? Mm-hmm. And I was like, girl, this is the exact thing that I have wrestled with the Lord. And she was like, yeah, that's really, really hard. I don't know how to feel about that. And I said, well, guess what? She goes, what? I said, God gave me an answer. Do you want me to tell you what he said? And she was like, yes, what did he say? And I said, he said, because this is your story. This is your testimony. And he wanted you to carry this testimony. And your sister's testimony looks different and it sounds different. And her testimony is that God wanted her to be at home that day. And it doesn't make sense to us, But back to y'all's question, in this tragedy, the way that you hold on to your spouse or how you run to each other, it's actually a beautiful moment to start again. And so I would just say to anybody listening who's married and not that you want something hard to happen, but don't turn away from each other when it gets really hard. See it as, this is my chance to start again in my relationship. And truly, if I was looking for Trey to make me whole again after this awful reality, he wasn't going to be able to do it. And it was like turning towards, I was thinking about this picture the other day of Jesus standing between any married couple. And if they know the Lord, then they're communing with the Lord. They're abiding in the Lord. They're reading his living word, and they're hanging out with Jesus. And it's not like you turn away from Jesus to look at your loved one and your spouse. It's like Trey's on the other side of Jesus. So I can actually look through Jesus at my husband, and he can do the same. And what would happen if we would just ask Jesus, how do you see my husband? And when he's difficult or hard, which is never,
just in case somebody else has a difficult or hard husband.
So just in case, like if you guys are having a hard time, that you might take this away with you as like, would you look through the lens of Christ? And then you can't help but see the bloodshed and the forgiveness dripping off of your spouse. And so then if I can look at Trey with those eyes, it can truly change everything. There's more patience, there's more love, there's more kindness. And so this tragedy brought us very, very close together. As a family, we spent nonstop hours and moments together, physically touching each other all day long. The kids, me, like Olive, this is what she needed. She had to be touching me at all times for months and months and months and months. The Lord has redeemed that. He's redeemed even the touch between us. The joy, oh my goodness, the joy in Olive when we get to hug is just unreal.
Trey, what was your perspective? Say it from your vantage point.
Yeah, so I was at work and got the phone call from April, and I don't even really.
Your coworkers said that you flew out the door.
Oh,
You
It
just,
was on
like,
the second
flew.
story, like computer open, whatever, like all that. I didn't even care.
Yeah.
And lots of takeaways from that, kind of as I was able to unpack it a little bit. But I mean, my first thought was to drive to school.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know. Looking back on it, I was like, what am I thinking? But I think it's the fatherly instinct in me to say, and that was what hit me real fast was I have no control. And I think that's kind of a great lie that we tell ourselves is that we do have control.
Yes.
The Lord is in control. And that's what I wish my response were as good as April was about going straight to the Lord. But I just got in my car. I'm like, I'm going to go do stuff. Like, this is going to,
Absolutely.
which again is crazy. But I think just the rawness in that and friends reaching out as I'm driving to the school and everything as well. But the limbo, and I understand this is a very unique case, but thinking that your child could be getting killed right then, in that moment. Not because most of the time you hear about tragedy and it's happened or it's whatever. And so then you're kind of struggling
It's a couple
with loss.
circles
but the
away, though.
activeness of it
Yeah.
was a very tough thing, I think, for anyone to walk through. But and there's a lot there. I mean, we can unpack a lot.
This is so sensitive because that's the reality for
Someone did
for
lose.
six,
Yes.
7 people, including the shooter.
And our daughter has made it through, and she's great. And she is just such a the spiritual world that has opened up for her since this is unbelievable. You guys know, I mean, you all know her, and it's been a journey, but she has come on another side where she has seen a realm that I don't see, and I think it in many ways took this to be able to, and she wears it as a badge almost of like, this is my story. This is not who I am, but it's something that is definitely a part of me. The Lord allowed this. And
the Lord was with me. That's what she knows.
Right.
She's like, the Lord was with all of us.
One thing people advised was, hey, go try to live your life as normal as you can for your kids. And we're kind of like,
oh my
what?
gosh.
How is that even how is that even possible?
Yeah.
So this was on a Monday. Typically they would go to tennis. We had a good friend of mine was a tennis pro at a country club where
we are not members.
We are not members.
He
but our
was
kids-
getting us in.
Our kids were
on the
giving
side.
lessons, and so the entire city of, we didn't know this, but really all the schools and everything in Nashville shut down because they just didn't know the threat and all that kind of stuff. So we just take our kids, and of course April and I are a wreck, and we're bawling, but our kids really don't know, especially our son who wasn't even at the school. I mean, Lou wasn't at the school.
Olive knows, but
So we pull up to these tennis lessons. Nobody's in the parking lot. And I'm like, this is kind of odd. Even though we had just gone through this, like, this is kind of odd. Walk in, lights are off. And we have my friend, and this is going to choke me up, but
it does.
and then a couple of the tennis pros, their bags packed over their shoulder, tennis rackets, and they're leaving, literally turning off the lights. I make eye contact with him, and he just kind of turns to his tennis pros like, we're doing this. Turns on the lights. It's only our kids.
Our 3 kids. Which
And
gives,
we're overseeing, and we weren't ever there together. I think
Not
it was
together.
a lot of like, I'll take the kids here and you take the whatever.
Yeah.
We're just standing there watching our kids. Each one had a separate tennis pro with them. They all knew what was going
which
on,
is
but we
not
never said
what that
anything.
looks
We
like.
never
It's a
we never
group-
spoke.
It's a group class.
Literally, the adults never spoke a word. And I mean, other than just kind of eye contact and thank you. But the joy that we could see our kids and say, man, we are so grateful just to see them playing and having fun, and they're laughing and they're having so much joy. And the sadness is we don't live like that every day. We did for a while.
Yeah.
But I think this is a memory that, and this is where Stacking Stones and Ebenezer's come in, right? Is our kids are precious.
Yes.
And life is precious. We are not guaranteed it, but we often think that's such an illusion. We think we are promised tomorrow.
Right.
I think we all kind of think that.
We do.
Yeah. Right.
But we don't really live that way. And that was such a moment in our lives that I take back. I take forever and we'll look back on. It's like, what a gift.
And draw from.
From
what the Lord showed us and taught us. And
I want to hit on something you said real quickly, because I think it was a moment. There were two poignant things, and I think we're going to end with your picture of like Jesus between. Like that was beautiful, of like seeing your spouse and how you see them through the lens of Jesus. But if Jesus is between you, if he's not, then you see them in the natural.
in the flesh.
I
in
see
the
their
natural.
brokenness.
That's right.
And I love him when
You
he's
see how they
succeeding, and I
disappoint
don't
me.
when he's
Right.
not, whether that's at home or whether that's at work or somewhere else. But you said your first instinct was to go and save your daughter. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
I think in our culture, like I think that's Christ in you. I don't think that because you didn't respond the same way April did. I think that we need more men to stand up and say, I'm going to rescue my wife. I'm going to rescue my kids. And I'm going to stand up in a culture that says, we want you to play small ball. We're coming full circle to the league.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. Well done.
Hey,
Slow clap.
Well, there you go. But I love that. I love that you are each walking in your identity, even in the processing. But more than that, I love that it pulled it all together, April, when you said that about Jesus, because that's how I think we can love each other in a way that trumps everything.
Yes.
Performance or this natural world, because you see Trey the way Jesus sees him, and you see April the way Jesus sees her. And when you continue to look at Jesus, that's how you can go through, whether it's the highest of high or the lowest of low, and you can be together.
It really helps that because I walk this, I get this from listeners who are like, well, my husband isn't seeking the Lord, or my wife is not seeking the Lord. And that makes it very isolating in a marriage when you're not equally yoked. And so I have, just compassion for that moment and that season, or that reality for listeners. I'm really grateful. This guy is so disciplined. It's funny. I've always been like, I'm just kind of Trey's the oak tree and I'm the butterfly and I land occasionally, and I'm just kind of like floating about and that's who I am, And the Lord just corrected me so kindly one day, and he was like, you are my disciple and you are meant to go make disciples. And so what is the root of disciple? It's discipline. And so that is actually in my identity, and I'm made in the image of God. And so I can do that thing that the enemy would love for me to just go, you're just more creative, you're more whatever. You don't have this facet. I do have that facet, and I will claim it. And it's interesting. It was like, if I can just claim it, then the Lord is like, oh, yay, I'll give it all. Here's your discipline. But it's a choice, right? It's a practice. I'm so obsessed with practice right now. My most recent release is a song called Muscle Memory. And it is about the practice of getting in those reps with Jesus, practicing the obedience, that trust with him, trusting him in every situation and running to him in every situation. That's what the Lord is doing in us and in our family and in our kids. It's like, I had this picture in my mind the other day of like Jesus standing in front of me as a little baby. I'm trying to walk for the first time and he just shoves me down. And it wasn't real. It was like this laughable moment. That's not what he does.
Yeah.
He doesn't go, you're not a very good walker. You know what you do. He's a good father. He stands there and he's like, yeah, you took a step. Even though I'm still rolling around crawling, he's like, you got this. I know you can do it. Here, come to me again. Do it, walk again. And that's what he's doing. He's cheering on our practice. Now, once we're 18 and we're walking around and we're doing things, quote unquote, really well, and we were like, I want to suck my thumb and go crawl. Like, nope. You better stand up, child. Get up on your feet. You know how to walk. And so Jesus convicts us and and reminds us. But I love that identity of daughter, you can be disciplined too. But back to Trey is so disciplined. He wakes up every morning. It is amazing how the kids float in around while he's doing things and the conversations that they have. He's sometimes, this is very, very sensitive. Sometimes he's just like laying on his face on the bathroom floor, and he's praying and he's meditating, and he's maybe listening to music or completely silent. He's reading the Word of God, and then he comes in with giant joy and greets us all with his joy, which was super strange the first time you did that. 'Cause I wasn't used to that.
Right.
But now we're all used to it. We're like, if Dad didn't come in going, Emmy Lou, oh my goodness, I love you. If he didn't come in doing that, Olive, it's you. Yay. Evercrew, get in here. This is how he greets us. And that, I mean, is a beautiful picture of how Jesus loves us. And so he's bringing that into our home. And his discipline is, man, the ripple effect of his leadership and his discipline in our family is palpable.
That's a great message for dads and husbands.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. You're getting blessed today, Trey.
Man, seriously.
I hope you
I don't
feel
deserve it. I don't
No,
deserve it.
well, I
None
hope
of
you
us
feel
do.
it.
None of us
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned your song Muscle Memory.
Yes.
How do we hear more of your songs?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you just go to any social, which is just, I guess I just have Facebook and Instagram, more active on Instagram than Facebook, which is like once every 5 weeks or so. Instagram handle is April X Cushman X. And that's a little thing that the Lord actually gave me. It wasn't just like, how do I fill this up? The variable, I'm not even a math person. Don't you love this, babe? You know how X,
I've never heard
you know
it.
how X can mean any
right.
number? And I love this infinite, eternal, like, the Lord is at the core of who I am, that it just makes me want to cry. The whole reason I sing is because of his kindness and his goodness and his presence with us. And so the X is just a constant little reminder. And then it keeps me from at April Cushman, because that's not me, at April X Cushman. You'll find me there. But
This whole episode, kind of started about talking about like, extremes of like tragedy and success and stuff like that. And I'm so glad the Lord drew out what I can now kind of quantify as what I see in you guys. And it's that like you're working hard to abide in Jesus on the daily. On your face before the Lord. Confessing, I probably need discipline in this area of my life. And moving forward with daily bread in that. Because when that's orienting everything that's going on, when the success comes, it's oriented to the presence of God, and you realize how fragile and tangible, it's temporary.
wow.
You realize how temporary success is, and if you don't before too long, you feel entitled to it. It's all from the Lord. It's daily bread. And then on the other side, when some of the hardest things happen to us, when we orient them to the peace and the presence of God, they're going to scare us to death. But the presence of God orients everything, even the darkest days. And you don't get there, though, apart from the way you guys have described it. It's just daily. I'm walking with the Lord. I'm abiding in Him.
Carl, I love
Beautiful
that.
picture.
I want Trey to share. The Lord gave us both a little bit of like a one-liner individually, and they're different from each other. But I'd love to share mine, and I want you to share yours.
Okay, sure.
The one-liner that the Lord invited me to say in the morning, and to take every thought captive, because you just think you're thinking about your whole day, is to take those thoughts captive. And He gave me this one-liner to say, is like, Lord, what is on your heart today? And that puts me in this posture of looking around for what He's doing instead of what I need to get done. And I'm not even a list person. Did you know that about me? When I make lists, He gets real pumped. It's a turn on for sure.
Yeah, what
One time I made a spreadsheet, and He was like, but the Lord said, you should say this. And so I do. Lord, what is on your heart today? And that is a really beautiful thing. But
Trey, what's yours?
Yeah, what is the Lord? Lord, help me faithfully step in.
Oh, yeah. Help me faithfully step into what you have for me today and not let my plans for the future steal the joy that you have planned for me today.
Because
I'm
Trey's
such a planner
planner.
and a forecaster. And
Yeah.
I always said in business, forecasting and mitigating risk that's what I've kind of
His
nailed
gifts.
down as my like business gift.
Yeah.
But I've come to learn it's prophecy. And he gives me the gift or has given me the gift of being able to see things in the future. However, the flip side of that, I think the flesh in me it takes me out of the moment in the present.
Yeah.
And so that's something I struggle is not a good word, but it's just that's the daily bread for me. Help me stay in today and don't let my thoughts and plans of the future deal what you have planned for me right today.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for talking to us today.
Yes.
It's been absolutely a blessing.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
God bless this ministry of yours.
Well,
I love it.
We love y'all. Love
Big
y'all
fans
so
of
much.
Carl and Heather.
Big fans of Carl and
Yes.
Heather.
Big fans of Traypril.
We have a thing we say at the end. Together on purpose.
Together on purpose.
Boom.
Love it.
Together on
Catchphrase.
purpose.
Love it.
You can, yes. Yeah.